Hey guys, it's time to talk about the National Defense Authorization Act. And thank you to everybody who messaged their elected officials asking them to remove that nasty anti-gun provision from the bill. It's Phil, and this is the Minuteman Moment. The Senate just finished voting on the annual bill which funds our country's military, and now it's headed to the president's desk. Fortunately, Congress was too scared to push for military gun confiscation orders in this year's NDAA after all of you spent the last 2 years letting them know you didn't want it. But unfortunately, we weren't able to stop the voluntary safe storage pilot program from this year's final version. But at least we have a list of all the members who voted for the bill so we can hold these squishy guys accountable. A voting record isn't always the best metric for deciding who's a good and who's a bad member. And that's because a lot of times these vulnerable or squishy members get protected from taking bad votes on controversial legislation. But there are some rare votes which actually reveal the priorities and willingness to compromise among these members. And sadly, there were a lot of really good members who actually voted for this bill. And while we're going to keep working with these members behind the scenes to remind them of why that vote was wrong, it is unfortunate they chose to vote in favor of this bill while compromising with the gun rights of our military service members. The fact is, it is hard to vote against the National Defense Authorization Act for a lot of members. Some of them think it's a must-pass bill, which it's not. If your member voted against this bill, make sure to get in touch with them and thank them for standing firm on gun rights. But if your member voted for this bill but is otherwise a pretty good member of Congress, don't blacklist them. We don't want you to abandon them. Instead, use this as an opportunity to message or meet with your member and encourage them to do better next time. They want your vote for re-election, and let them know that you're upset with their vote. And if you have a chance to meet with them, talk about adding pro-gun stuff in the NDAA or any other bill. Congress should be making it easier to allow the Second Amendment to be realized and exercised, not more difficult. We want members of Congress at the federal level to push for great legislation like constitutional carry on military bases or concealed carry reciprocity. If you want to see how your member voted, check the link below and take a look for yourself. But here's a short list of the pro-gun representatives that voted against this gun control. And on that note, I have some news to share about the future of this channel. I recently took a new job which is going to put me a little bit more behind the scenes here in Washington. Unfortunately, one of the things I have to give up is the Minuteman Moment. But don't worry, GOA is still going to be releasing weekly videos on everything you care about here in Washington and throughout the country, just with a different host. If you ask me, I think this channel is ready to explode, and a lot of that has to do with you guys. And I think the best is yet to come. Okay, for the last time, this is Phil with the Minuteman Moment.